Desert season, as I affectionately call it, is thoroughly upon us here in Utah. It's the time of year when the mountains and high elevation are cold, brown, dead, and snowy, and the desert is no longer scorchingly hot during the daytime. And that means it's time for an adventure. This one's kind of unique in that it's a whole family affair. I'll have both my boys and both my brothers along with me for the ride. I've been here before, none of them have. And it's been a few years since I have, so I'm excited to revisit it. Our destination this time is the Cathedral Valley Loop. It's roughly 60 miles of dirt, clay, and sand through Utah's desert and part of Capitol Reef National Park. It has a few very iconic landmarks like the Temple of the Sun and Moon and the Bentonite Hills. You can choose to run it either counterclockwise or clockwise, but the often recommended direction is counterclockwise. There is a river crossing, and going counterclockwise gets the river out of the way almost immediately here. That way you don't get clear around the loop to the end, only to discover that the river is not crossable at that time, all while having the highway and the end of the trail 100 yards away on the other side. Normally the river crossing here is the most significant obstacle. The water can be high, but the bottom tends to be pretty firm, so it's usually not a problem. That being said, if it has rained recently on this trail, the bentonite clay, which a lot of the road is made of, can quickly turn a fairly easy road into a nightmare. If you've ever wanted to experience what the surface of Mars must feel like without actually going there, this area and this trail in particular is probably about as close as you can get while staying on Earth. So much so that fairly nearby is actually something called the Mars Desert Research Station. It's a privately owned, real functioning Mars simulation base run by the Space Society. By the end of the video, we will also visit and camp at what must be the closest you can get to the surface of the moon without actually being on the moon, known as Moonscape Overlook. Moonscape is one of those places where I've visited many times now. And no matter how many times I've currently visited and how many times I visit in the future, I don't think I'll ever get tired of it. I'm not sure what the actual story is behind this abandoned vehicle. As you can see, it looks like it's been there quite a while. Considering it's right by a livestock watering trough and what looks to be a well, my best guess would be it's a long abandoned relic of a rancher trying to get water out to his cattle. Welcome to Mars. The hills themselves are made of ancient volcanic ash, which is what bentonite clay is made of. The colors come from the chemical ingredients that were mixed into that ancient ash. Reds and pinks are iron that oxidized in oxygen-rich conditions, basically rusted clay. The greens and blues are less iron and a little magnesium that form in wetter, oxygen-poor muds. The white and light grays are nearly steel pure ash that have very little iron or organic material, and the yellows and browns are iron, water, and sulfur.
Daddy, what? I just found this rock down there in this ditch.
Let me see it. That is a pretty cool rock, dude.
I'm bringing it home.
No, you can't. You have to leave it in the park.
Why?
Because we leave stuff like that here.
I go in it.
Look at it. It's like a little house.
This right here?
No, right here. Yeah, right here. Look. Look at the window on the other side. On the side of it, right there. Up here. Other side.
You probably need to get in through the window. But right here. Yeah, you get in through right here. I need you to move so I Lizzie! He's also one of the orange ones, and they have a little blue spot.
What kind of lizard is that?
It's a harbored lizard.
Harbored lizard?
Yeah.
Where'd you learn that at?
That's cool.
This trail also crosses many washes and at some points drives straight through the middle of them for fairly good distances. So if there's heavy rain in the forecast, if flash floods are at all possible, I would not recommend going on this trail. The monoliths in this area are made from what is known as Entrada sandstone. This whole area was once underwater multiple times. Cathedral Valley sandstone layers come from ancient seas, tidal flats, river systems, and desert dunes stacked on top of one another. Every cliff face is basically a cross section through millions of years of Earth doing costume changes. This sinkhole is something that kind of sneaks up on you. It doesn't look big until you get up on it, and then it's quite astounding. It's roughly 200 feet deep. It's hard to measure precisely because the walls crumble and the bottom is a pile of fallen rock. The culprit is its namesake, gypsum, a soft, water-soluble mineral that hides in the subsurface layers of Capitol Reef. Over centuries, groundwater slowly dissolved a big chamber into the gypsum layer below you, which eventually collapsed.
I might see Indians and people riding horses, and I don't know why I think that, and wagons.
Most people come to this particular area solely for the Temple of the Sun and Temple of the Moon. But just right down the road from one of the monoliths is this geological wonder called Glass Mountain. Glass Mountain is made of selenite, a transparent form of gypsum. It's basically a giant naturally occurring crystal dome, like a geode cracked open and left exposed to the weather.
Hold on. I'm gonna taste it. No, just crystal shards.
Was it gross?
No, it didn't taste like anything.
Not salt?
No, just crystal shards.
How do you know what crystal shards taste like? That is so crazy. I got an even better one.
The Temple of the Sun and Temple of the Moon rise roughly 400 to 500 feet above the desert floor. Each one is taller than a 40-story building. They were mistaken for Mormon temples in early 20th century travel lore. The name stuck because they really do look like giant stone sanctuaries. This spot getting back on the highway here is the official other side of the Cathedral Valley Loop Trail. From here, we backtracked back to Hanksville briefly to refuel and get some gas station goodies, and then hustled out to Moonscape Overlook to try to get there during golden hour and to find camping time as we were all quite hungry. Welcome to the moon.
Oh, that's crazy on a drone.
I know, it looks cool on the drone, huh? I've never actually seen Moonscape Overlook be this busy, and I've been here on Memorial Day, I believe it was, and this was literally just kind of a random Saturday, and it was the absolute busiest I've ever seen it. I was pretty surprised by it, and we were originally planning on camping here, but we ended up having to go down the road a little ways to another spot. Give me an eyebrow wink. Give me a wink.